Today, I'm going to show you a brand new free super AI agent that's very comparable, and we'll be comparing it side by side versus Manus, and this is called Scout.New. Now, this is a crazy powerful tool that is completely free. It's like an AI super agent. For example, I said, go off, create a calculator website, blah, 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 and it created this absolutely awesome designed calculator tool, custom trained to my website, and literally just gave it like one single prompt. This is blowing paid tools out of the water. And I'll show you how Scout.New, currently in alpha, creates stunning websites, interactive calculators, and research presentations with minimal prompting. You'll learn how I created a fully functional SEO calculator website with working forms, embedded videos, and proper branding, side-by-side comparisons showing why Scout's outputs actually crush other paid super AI agents, and the exact process to download and host these sites on Netlify. We've got a new free AI super agent called Scout.New. I'll show you some of the stuff you can do with this because it's absolutely amazing considering it's free and it's like a Manus alternative, but in many ways it's actually more powerful. I'll be showing you exactly how that works in a second, showing you some of the results that I've gotten with it so far, and again, it is completely free, so we'll come on to that in a second. The other big update is one from Notebook LM. So they've just introduced a couple of new big things this week, especially one big announcement that came today. And on top of that, we also have the new Claude MCPs update that has totally changed the game when it comes to building out and creating with Claude directly inside the desktop. It's way easier to connect MCPs now, way more powerful, and pretty much unlimited in terms of what you can do. I don't think people realize that yet. So we're going to get straight into this. And the first thing that we're going to be talking about is Scout.New. So Scout.New is an AI super agent, and essentially it is completely free. Now, it's available because it's in alpha right now. So you can see this is available in alpha mode right now, and you can get free access at Scout.New. And this is actually really powerful for building stuff. Let me show you some examples of what I've done with it so far. I'll just pull up these notes from the AI Profit Boardroom, and we'll compare it as well against Manus and other tools like that. Here's an example of something that we actually built earlier. And I just said, create an awesome SEO calculator website for Julian Golding. Is a Golding agency. It's beautifully designed, sleek, modern landing page, blah, blah, blah. Research Julian Golding, include pictures of him, links to his website, embed some videos in there as well, right? And I was expecting like something really basic or average, kind of ChatGPT or Gemini Canvas and those really boring tools that you can just create something basic on. Let me show you what we actually got back. So you can see here, it collects all the information and tools and everything else, right? And I was thinking when I saw this looks like trash, right? When you actually pull this up, you're like, look at the output here. But let me show you what it actually looks like when you click on the Open in New tab. And you'll see this beautifully designed website that's created. Again, literally just gave it a prompt and it went off and did its magic like you can see right here. And you can actually download all of these files, and then you could download them as a zip, host them as a folder, put them on Netlify, and host a website. So let me show you what I mean. So this is the subdomain that's been created from Scout.New using the prompt, and it's built out a full SEO calculator with links to my funnels, as you can see. So this links to the free SEO strategy session, and I didn't have to really give it any input at all. Just went off and did its magic. Now, if we actually have a look at this as well, it's created a really awesome calculator tool here, which actually you can select between keyword potential, content ROI, backlink value, and ROI calculator. So for example, if we put, okay, monthly SEO spend, 10,000 organic traffic, conversion rate at 2.5%, and then average order value at 100, we'll click calculate ROI, and the calculator works like perfectly. Boom, shakalaka, right? Like how awesome does the, number one, it figured out the logo. Number two, it figured out my funnels. Number three, it inserted an awesome SEO calculator in there. That would be a great lead magnet. Top of that, it researched and found information about me, plus embedded an image about me, hosted it on a subdomain, like you can see right here. This is a subdomain it's hosted on. Created the page that worked first time round with just very little prompting. And then let's open up these, just check they work. Yes, it actually does link directly to my website, along with my funnels directly here as well. Then it's even inserted like this featured on section. And here's where it gets cool as well. So I actually found some videos of me and then was like, let's get those embedded. So I'll just mute this site so we don't play the noise out loud. But if we open this up, you can see that we have the videos from my YouTube channel embedded directly on the website. Pretty crazy. It links to other YouTube videos directly here. You can click on subscribe to Julian Goldie's channel, and it links directly to my YouTube channel. And then it includes some links to my other funnels here as well. So you can see it links to be fair, that Amazon book doesn't work. So just going to be 100% honest with you there. But it does link to this perfectly, right? Along with a bunch of FAQs on a landing page. Now that is far better than any sort of landing page I've created inside, for example, I'll show you what Manus did previously with a similar sort of prompt. And also, if you're using something like Visual Studio Code, the outputs you get won't be as good as this. This is way better than anything else I've seen from most super agents. And if we open up these links, let's just check these work as well. So if we open them up, yeah, links straight to the LinkedIn, the YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Yeah, boom. That's crazy, right? Crazy. And it did it all perfectly right here. The way that we've done this, again, just literally gave it that prompt. Simple as that. And then it's just gone off and done its magic. And so Krishna says WordPress. I think you could host this in WordPress if you wanted to. The way that I would normally host a website like this is I'm going to download all the files. So you can see it's creating a zip archive of the files from the super agent. We're going to open up the folder. We have the folder ready to go now, like you can see. And then what I would do is I would normally go to something like Netlify, right? So you can go into Netlify. I'll just log in here. See if we can log in with GitHub maybe. There we go. And then from here, you're going to click on add a new site inside netlify.com, import an existing project, try Netlify drop, drag and drop the folder that you just got from the agent. That's going to upload and then deploy. So if we wait for the files to upload directly here, open up the production deploy. I think that's still deploying, but yeah, essentially that's how you can run the whole project, right? Really simple stuff. You can see how easy it is to build things with Scout.New, completely free, doesn't cost anything to use. Let me show you side by side how this performs versus something that's paid like Manus, right? So if you want to use Manus, which is kind of like the alternative, it's pretty pricey. So I'm on the free plan here, I haven't paid for any credits. Click on upgrade, you got two choices. So you got the choice between Manus Starter and Manus Pro. Now Manus Pro is $199 per month if you want to use this. All right, so if we now go inside the chat and you want to use this for free, kind of like Scout, let's take the same prompt here and just see if it works, all right? So we'll compare these side by side. This is Manus, this is Scout. So if we go to Manus, click on that, it's going to ask me to upgrade, so I can't use it for free. Whereas, for example, with Scout.New, you can use that for free. You can go straight to the website, just log in, create a beautiful landing page like that. It's all customized to you, your funnels. It all works basically perfectly. I think the only thing I saw that was broken was the ebook link, and you're ready to go. You're off to the races. Crazy how powerful that is. So that was just one example as well. There's a lot more you can actually do with this, but I just wanted to show you that example first of all, in terms of what you can build and how you can use it. Now, the only downfall that I would say with Scout.New is that it does take quite a while to respond. And I think that's because, number one, it's free. And number two, there's tons of YouTubers probably showing this all at the same time, right? So if we're all showing free tools on YouTube, probably the servers get overloaded because everyone from YouTube goes and chases out this free tool, especially if it's actually good like this one. And I can understand why it would be so slow. But I think normally you wouldn't expect it to be that slow at all. So that was just one example. Anything that you can do inside Manus, I think you could do inside Scout. Is going to be completely free. You know, this is very similar to other tools, for example, GenSpark as well. GenSpark can do similar things. If we go to GenSpark, you're paying like at least minimum, I think it's $50 a month, something like that. So if we go to GenSpark here, we can plug in the same prompt. I can leave that running in the background and then we can come back to it later and just see, okay, how does Scout.New perform versus GenSpark? Out of all these super agents that I've tested so far, my personal favorite is, but I would say from what I've seen so far, Scout.New might be overtaking it, right? So if we go back to Scout.New as well, let me show you some other examples of what we built here. So this was another example. So I actually told Scout.New to just go off and start researching super agents from Scout.New, right? So I said, research Scout.New AI super agents and everything we need to learn about this. Give me all the useful, interesting information you can about it. Make it super detailed, blah, blah, blah. And it went off and did it, right? And you can see what it's doing. If we go through the chat here, so you can actually scroll through and see the live previews, is it's actually just going off and browsing the internet researching all this information. You can see here, for example, it's browsing the internet, going through all these different web pages, doing all the research, and then it builds out a presentation. But not just that, it actually builds out a presentation that you can then click on, open a new tab, and you've got a full web page ready to go with all the images. It's crazy stuff. An animal, what a name, says Julian DOS attacks AI site. It's I feel bad sending traffic, but hopefully when they do launch a pay plan, like they get some customers out of it. But yeah, it's a really cool tool. So let me show you an example of what this means and how you can use it. So I want to come back to GenSpark here and just see if we've got some side-by-side presentations to show you. All right, so here's a really good example. So obviously Manus you can't use for free, so it's not even comparable, right? But I will show a website example in a minute of Manus versus Scout.New. But if we compare GenSpark versus Scout.New, let me show you the outputs here. So this is exactly the same prompt on Scout.New as GenSpark, both AI super agents. And this is what we got back from Scout. This is what we got back from GenSpark, right? Now, we use exactly the same prompt, which you can see right here, which is a research one. Go off and do some deep research, then create a web page about it, right? And if we have a look at this page, it's what are super agents, here's what they do, here's how they work, etc. Here's a nice image explaining them. Then it's actually introduced Scout, so it's created like a really nice sort of landing page that explains in very simple terms what Scout is, how it works, etc. Right? And it's actually figured out, okay, bear in mind this is a relatively unheard of tool that most people would struggle to find information about. Scout.New scoured the internet and found all this information about its own tool, right? It even says like Scout is currently in alpha, offering unlimited free access for a limited time, so it continues to evolve and improve its capabilities, right? Then it's got this nice little graphic explaining how it works, what it does, etc. All the functionalities, so web browsing, coding, etc. And it looks really nice, this presentation. It even got like a nice timeline here, information about the company, etc. And also, what I really like is these official resources here. So it's actually linked out to all the official resources about what Scout is, how it works, the company that created it, how that works, the Discord link, and even the Twitter profile, right? Now, if we compare that to GenSpark has created like a really generic looking page. Now, this looks good, but honestly, every time GenSpark generates a presentation, it's usually like the same colors, the same output, etc. Right? Now, also what you can see here is that GenSpark tends to hallucinate a lot in the presentation. So it says Scout is really good, it almost has no limits, etc. Let's open it up. All right, but that's not an actual quote that's open on the internet, right? So it's quoted something that doesn't make sense. So if we open this up, can you find that quote anywhere? No. Why? Because it's hallucinated. And that's the problem with GenSpark as well. It's like quite often in its presentations, you have to be really careful about what you build with it and what you show with it, because quite often GenSpark hallucinates, right? Whereas Scout didn't when it did the research. So honestly, if I had to choose which presentation I would use, I'm probably going to go with the Scout.New one directly. If you compare them side by side, this one just feels a lot more natural. It's broken down. It's nice and easy to scan through. This one from GenSpark, not quite as nice to look through and that sort of thing, right? And also, you can see again, it hallucinated the pricing here. So these are not the prices for Scout.New at all. And it's hallucinated the quotes and the prices inside the GenSpark report, whereas inside the Scout.New report, everything from what I can see seems to be factual, right? So that was another example. Now, let me show you one final example. So this is interesting as well. This is exactly the same prompt from GenSpark, which is a paid tool, versus Scout.New, which is a free tool. So if we compare these side by side, let me open this up, right? So we can compare them side by side. This is Scout.New's output, and this is GenSpark's output. Now, if I look through this page, number one, this one is a lot more responsive, whereas you can see, for example, the button design at the top right here is overlapping the menu bar. Number two, this has used our official logo, whereas this one has just used a picture of me, which is weird if it's about Goldie Agency. Number three, if you actually compare the complexity of the calculator, so this is the SEO calculator from Scout, this is the one from GenSpark. This is free, this is paid, right? And if you look at the output here, the actual branding on the page uses my brand colors, right? So this is using the orange of our company, of our agency, whereas this one you can flick between all the different options and super good. Also, let's just test this actually works. So if we go inside here and I'm typing in 1,000. So I've actually typed it in, but it's created white on white, right? So the UI of the calculator itself is not as good on GenSpark as it is inside Scout. Let's keep scrolling down now. Yeah, this all seems fairly straightforward. Let's just check these links actually work. Yeah, that's all good. That's all working nicely. And then we've got the featured video section. Again, I would say that the featured video section on this website just looks a bit nicer in terms of how it's been embedded. I do really like the testimonials that it's sourced in there. But overall, if I had to choose, I'm going to go with Scout.New. The branding is more like us. It's less generic. The calculator is better. The quality of the design is better, and it's actually responsive. And so you can see the difference here. And again, like, this is really powerful stuff. Now, let me show you side by side as well how Manus performs, right? So I'm going to go inside the AI Profit Boardroom and I'll pull up some examples from Manus of what it's built before, and we can compare which one is better. Bear in mind, Manus, it goes from like $39 a month to $200 a month, right? Whereas, for example, Scout.New is completely free. So if we go inside here, we'll check out the build anything section. Then we're going to go to the website section here. By the way, feel free to join the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. And what you can see is this is the output from Manus using a very similar prompt to build out a website. Now, if you compare them side by side here, you see how it's used like generic stock images for the person's face, right? That should be a picture of me like this, but it's filled it in with a generic face instead, right? And the same with the rest of the page. It all just feels really generic and not quite as personalized to me as this page right here. Whereas this one, it's used our branding, it's used images of me, it's inserted YouTube videos of me, etc. Right? And the design is super nice too. So again, I would go with the outputs from Scout over the outputs from Manus or GenSpark. And so that's how powerful this AI agent is. I don't know how long it's going to be free for, but awesome to show you that sort of stuff, right? Awesome to show you the power of this sort of thing. So let's keep going now. Hyman says, Goldie Bros on fire. That's what we're talking about, mate. Goldie Bros. Goldie Nation. And we're going to keep going through. So that was just one example. So we've shown you like deep research. We've shown you the calculator. Here's another example. So I said like research Gemini 2.5 Flash. It's giving me an output right here. Let's check the output here. This one was a bit weird, I think. If I click on the output, it actually wrote it all down in Markdown. And then we just have to go to Markdown Live Preview, plug in that, and you can see we've got the Notebook LM port right there. It's still useful, but I wouldn't say that was as good as what it created earlier. I just want to be 100% honest with you. But yeah, you can see how it works, how to use it, etc. Right? So Scout. So just to give you a bit of information about Scout, who they are, etc. So Scout is like an AI agent. It's got its own virtual computer. That's the other good thing about these tools, right? So when you're using AI agents, the good thing is like it's not directly on your laptop, right? Which means that it's a lot safer. It's got its own virtual computer. It's going to be in the cloud. It's not going to interact with your logins, etc. unless you give it. And also you can just run those tasks in the background and then come back to it later. So it's really good for that. In terms of who built it, so it's a team behind Scrappy Barra, which I've never actually heard of before, but they seem to be similar to these AI computer use stuff. So it's a computer for your AI. You can host like remote desktop instances and then build stuff. So that makes sense. So they have these virtual environments and the AI can just interact in those. So it's a lot safer than interacting with your local AI instance. And they've said, we're now building powerful general agents that use the same instances but can accomplish much more. Now, the other thing is, you might be wondering, okay, is it free forever, etc. So they've said, we're currently running a limited time open alpha with unlimited access for all users. So you can get unlimited access for now, but I don't know how long it's going to be free for. So you might as well just use it while you can. This is only an early preview, and we are working hard to ship a lot more features in the coming weeks. Blah, blah, blah. We welcome you to trust it. And Scout is free for now, but it costs a lot of money. So they'll be introducing pricing in the future. So don't rinse it, people. Use it carefully. All right. But yeah, I think you can pretty much use it for anything you want. Now you can switch between 2 different modes as well. So you've got options between fast AF or max vibes, right? So I guess that's for vibe coding. So for example, we said, okay, create an SEO. All right, I don't know, create an awesome SEO themed Space Invaders game. Something like that. And we use max vibes. To be honest, it was already slow. So I can imagine if you use the max vibes option, it's going to be way slower, right? But the outputs that you get are going to be better. And if you want to get access to this website, it is available at Scout.New. That's where you can get access, right? Scout.New. Now, some people are asking, does Lutra AI and Retriever work differently, all right? So Retriever, if you've not used this before, Retriever AI is similar, but from what I've seen, this is more like a Chrome extension, right? So it's actually running locally in your laptop. Whereas, for example, something like Scout is hosted on a virtual environment, right? So it's a lot safer in that way because you got more security. And whereas with the Chrome extension, honestly, it feels, number one, like the UI is not quite as nice. And number two, some people are not comfortable with an AI using their laptop locally, which is 100% understandable, right? And if you're not comfortable with that, you can use Scout instead. And also Retriever, typically you do have to pay for it after a certain amount. That's what I remember as well. And then with Lutra, Lutra is great, but Lutra is quite different because this is more like Lutra is more like connecting with your apps, kind of like Claude does now with the MCP update. But essentially, Lutra is more for interacting with your apps and MCPs and that sort of thing. Whereas when you're using Scout.New, it's great for building stuff and then hosting it on a subdomain or coding and that sort of thing. Now, you might be wondering, okay, how long does it typically take to get the outputs from this? From what I've seen, it's usually about, I would say, anywhere between 5 and 15 minutes to get the outputs when we're using this tool. So it does take a little while to generate the responses, but if it's free and if it's useful, then, that's typically going to be the case anyway. So you can see here, for example, when you run a response, just being 100% transparent with you. We said a few minutes ago, create an awesome SEO-themed Space Invaders game, and that created the plan, but it's going to take quite a while, right? We have to let Scout cook, as it says. So it might take a little while. You can also see here, it's like they're setting up a game development environment, and then it runs through the checkpoints. It's like, right, step number 1, set up the environment. Step number 2, design and implement the Space Invaders game. And then step number 3 is polish and finalize the game, right? And then also, if you click on the computer option here, you can initialize the computer. Additionally, you can also upload files directly here, which is pretty cool. So you can upload files as you go along. And then if you click on the history tab here, you can open up your history. You've got all your actions. You've got today's options. And I think you can run multiple instances at the same time, right? So you can duplicate the tab and then use it in different ways. And then it will show you, okay, here's what you did previously, and you can just go back to the old chats, or you can delete some of these as well if you want to. Also, I think it looks better in dark mode, for sure. It looks a lot nicer that way. Now, also, if you go inside the chat here, let me pull up some history. So if we go to this one, for example, and then we click on the computer here, you can just scroll through all the steps that it did, right? So it completed this SEO calculator in 25 steps. And then you can just scroll through each part, right? Interestingly, it shows like captures and bot verification and that sort of thing. And you can see all the research it's done here. So for example, like YouTube videos, LinkedIn posts, etc. If we pull this up, it's taking like images from our website, coding the server, etc. And then it comes back to us with the outputs. And then if we go to the file section over here, we've got all the files from the outputs as well. So the index, HTML, and everything else. Yeah, super nice, really cool tool. I think it's going to get better and better. You can see they've got a warning on the page as well. So they've said, we're currently experiencing high demand. Some Jans may freeze as we scale, blah, blah, blah. And you can also join the Discord. So let's have a look at this Discord. If we go inside here, we'll see what's happening. So it looks like really this is like a brand new tool. So April the 18th, they started posting stuff. And then you can see here, like they're adding new stuff all the time. Inside the cool jam section as well, you can see what people have built. So someone actually built like Super Mario with this, which is pretty wild. Shout out to Ryo Sato. You can see the game here. Like, this is crazy. Pretty realistic, to be fair. But yeah, definitely one to watch out for. I think it's just going to get better and a super powerful tool. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get access to my notes from today, I also added an recipe for Scout.New. If you love AI super agents and that sort of thing, feel free to get the AI Profit Boardroom. And you can get access to all of these different SOPs, tutorials, video notes, etc. Link in the comments description. It's easy to sign up in a couple of clicks. And you can see we're just constantly adding information to it. This community is just focused on making money and saving time with AI based on how we scaled our business with AI. And also, it's hard to meet people who are interested in the same things, right? How many people do you actually know who are scaling the business and getting good results with AI? So that's the cool thing about this community. It's what keeps making me want to push and do live streams every day and everything else. And you can also see here, we're just constantly updating this. So you can see all the updates that we've posted this week inside the AI Profit Boardroom. If you ever get stuck, you can post inside the community, ask any questions you have, ask the community for help, right? So for example, you can see this post right here and all the responses people got back. Additionally, we do weekly Q&A calls, so you can just jump on the live calls, ask any questions you have. It's always good to meet people as well in person on a call. And if you can't make the calls, no problem, because inside this section where we've got all our courses, templates, AI agents, etc., you can jump to the Q&A call recording section and watch back any call recordings that we have, right? So you can see every single week we're posting these Q&As. We've got all the call recordings right here. And yeah, if you want to join, feel free. Link in the comments description. Additionally, if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how to get more leads, traffic, and sales with SEO, feel free to get that. Basically, if you want higher profit margins, if you want to get more customers to your website, if you want to get more leads, traffic, and sales, feel free to book in a free SEO strategy session. This will give you like a custom tailored game plan, one-to-one on a call, where together we can just build out a game plan, help you with SEO, give you a full-on plan on exactly what to do, and show you the way towards getting more traffic based on what's working for us and our happy clients, like you can see right here.